I may not be able to. Okay. Tell me if you guys can hear me. Let me get rid of this image here. There we go. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Gavin Games for Valentine's Day 2026, I suppose. You can hear me. You can see me. Great. Good to see you. One moment. I need a sip of the bubbly. Now, listen. We have a pretty big Saturday show lined up for you today. I appreciate you spending some time with me. We were going to jump right into some God of War stuff, which we will in just a moment. But first, I realized that Bloober Team is right at this very moment dropping their new announcement. So we're going to watch that together. It looks like it's Layers of Fear 3. I absolutely loved the first Layers of Fear. Thought it was fantastic. Layers of Fear 2 and the Layers of Fear 1 remake, I thought were pretty terrible. But, maybe, especially given what they did with Chronos and especially what they did with Silent Hill, hopefully we are going to be getting a pretty great Layers of Fear 3. So let's go over there right now. And I am on Talk Studio, which means if you do want to call in, the link should be at the top of the chat. There it is right there. And you can call in and chat about what you would like to talk to. Let's give it a look. And if it's boring, somebody in the chat is saying it's not good, there's no gameplay. All right, well, let's take a look and we'll see. Hang on. And if not, we'll jump right into some God of War stuff. One moment. Hang on. Share screen. Here we go. Entire screenotto. All right, we are off to the races. This is what's happening right now. Let's check it out. Okay. Oh, Rose, thou art sick. The invisible worm that flies in the night and the howling storm has found out thy bed of crimson joy. And his dark secret love does thy life destroy, says Willie Blake. All right, great, but I want to see what's going on. Watch the trailer. Layers of Fear 3. If you never played the first Layers of Fear 3, the first Layers of Fear, I highly recommend it. It's excellent. It's excellent. And it's worth your time. And I wouldn't play the remake that starts on the ship or on the lighthouse. I'd just play the original if you can. But here we go. Let's watch the trailer, then we'll talk about it. I have not watched the Silent Hill trailer stream yet. The actual trailer, PK, is coming up later in the show. All right. Yeah, Matt, you're right. They have earned some goodwill with the Silent Hill 2 remake. A cab, I have Reanimal queued up. I will be playing it probably this weekend. So here we go. 22 minutes of shit. Let's go. Now, because we're on Talk Studio, some of the quality of the streaming's a little lame, and I apologize for that. I have not seen that, Rocker Matt, but please send me anything with that. It's better. I like soup. I like soup too, mommy. I want to be just like you now, girl. Eat your goddamn. You're crazy. There's no soup in that bowl. Lost their minds. And lost their minds. Isn't it just a movie bite? Yeah, but I didn't direct it. I'm just watching it with you guys. Oh. Oh. Burn that house fast and murder her little baby. You know that's true. We got some Epstein shit coming up here, boys. Yeah, feel that too. This is all it is. The hell, lady? Oh, the kid's dog? Nothing scary so far. Bite, we know. Bite's giving us play-by-play. This is not in-game. Nothing scary so far. We know. We're all watching it together now. Sing it by TT. Well, we could die to Jump as there. Is it art? It's not sugar boogers, baby. It's allergies to the dogs. Is and what is this? Come on. All right. Right. Yeah, sure. Oh, that's coffee.
Good evening and welcome to the Layers of Fear 10th
Whoa.
Anniversary Showcase.
This is not-
Some of you have been with us for a very long time. Others arrived later, by accident, curiosity, or through a friend's recommendation.
By accident? I was walking and I tripped and I fell into the Bloober Team website.
But if you are here, it's because at some point the story grabbed you and wouldn't let
Eyes are
go.
up here, buddy.
For Bloober Team, Layers of Fear isn't just a title from our past. It marked the moment when we understood what kind of studio we want to be, what type of games we want to create. Tonight we want to honor that legacy and show you that Layers of Fear is still alive,
Right, thanks
still
for that.
evolving, and still finding new ways to haunt.
I love you too, little baby.
Layers of Fear was imagined as a tribute to artists and a thin line between inspiration and obsession. Creativity can be both beautiful and destructive, while shaped by an ambition and the fear of failure.
Okay,
Our
well,
goal
by the
was
way,
to show
if you're
that, while
curious why
shaped by an ambition,
games take so long to come out, I just figured it out. They're fucking not even using computers. They're using typewriters. Fucking idiots. Get with the fucking times.
and the fear of failure. Our goal was to show that. By placing the player inside of an artist's unraveling mind, we invite empathy rather than judgment, changing horror into a deeply human experience.
Well, he did kill his family.
When we
I
started
did
making
change.
a game in 2015, we've been a team of around 20 people. It was a very personal project for us, and everyone put their own inspirations and experiences into the game art style and narrative themes. We are extremely grateful that the game resonated with so many people throughout the years. Layers of Fear is the game for the artist within you. And as every artistic journey,
Dude,
the
come
deeper
on.
you are
Show
going
us
into
the-
it,
show us the
the more you
blueprint.
discover
Where's the money?
about yourself.
I feel like my life is falling apart. Everything I touch breaks.
No,
There's a certain kind of horror that doesn't come
Guys,
from
let's
what you see.
go, man.
It
Let's
comes
go.
from
I know
what
they
you
put a lot of
feel
time into
and
lighting
what
it,
you
making
can't
the
stop
sinister
feeling.
and everything,
For
but
us,
you know
that's
what?
always been the
got a
core
show
of
to
Layers
do.
of Fear, and nothing captures it better
Oh God, no! I'm
than
sorry,
the game's
guys.
haunting
I'm gonna
part
fast
of
forward.
and
I just want to see a game.
As its music. So it's no wonder that
this
the layers theory to the game's original sound.
Oh my
Story and our joint projects.
Think group and group between two companies that are
All
leaders.
of the people who are
Today,
gonna
we're
turn
announcing
off their Minecraft
partnership
server. That's the one. You can see it in his eyes. He don't want to be here. He don't want to be here anymore.
between two companies that are leaders in their fields, Foxtel Publishing Group and Bluebird's team. Together, we will offer you books by top
Books?
Polish authors inspired by Bluebird's team iconic games.
We are launching this project,
that's
having
cool. I love reading
both
books, but-
communities.
Okay, we're moving on.
I'm very big for you. I'm horror and thriller writer.
Hello,
and I
lady.
lo-
Come over to my house.
Hi,
Oh,
I'm
yo.
Marta Bian. I'm horror
Yeah,
and
his
thriller
soul is dead,
writer,
Godzilla.
and I love this type of the storytelling for years, both in books and the games. I've known
Wouldn't it be crazy if she dressed like this, but she hated horror? She's like, I can't help it. This is what I like to wear, but I like rom-coms.
players of Pure from the very beginning. I bought the physical version of this game
You
right
did not.
after
Stop
its
it.
release
Stop
in
it.
2016 and still have it. A total collector's item. I play a lot of horror games, okay? A lot. But Layers of Fear has been my favorite for years, and I've been recommending it to my friends.
I like how she's like a little defensive. I play lots of horror games, okay? Yeah, you got it. And she's got a typewriter too, Wayne. You're right. Look at this. Jesus, get with the times.
To my followers on social media for a long time now. Mainly because it's not about cheap and forced scares. It's a psychological mystery game about
Fuck,
art
just
I
stay
love
there.
so much and about the descent into madness. That's the kind of horror that resonates with me the most. When writing
Are you
my
the horror
own
that
stories,
resonates
I've
with me?
always been interested in
That's
fear that creeps
Come on,
quietly
man.
and lingering, both as an author and a fan. I'm thrilled to be part of the game's 10th anniversary celebrations and to co-create new stories in the world I know.
Where is it? Well, we're going to talk about Sons of Sparta. I played it more. I got to we'll get there. Relax.
As we close out tonight's anniversary presentation, I just want to say thank you for the. Please take a look. We
Good.
have one final reveal we'd like to share.
Yeah, how about the game?
Please take a look.
Oh, Rose, thou art sick. The invisible worm that flies in the night, in the howling storm. Don't you worry about my little friend there. He tries to help, but the poor thing hasn't quite got the hang of the afterlife yet. He's found out thy bed of crimson joy, and his dark secret love does thy life destroy.
Oh my God.
Oh, would you look at that? It's time for supper. I leave you to it, my friend.
Shut up, Matt.
But I do hope you enjoy this very special day with that special someone in your life. Who knows?
It's like, what would you like to eat, sir? Well, I'll have a number 3. But perhaps I'd like the lettuce removed and the mayo. I'd like the mayo on the side. He just doesn't know how else to talk.
It may be your last.
It was supposed to be scary. 3 there and 1 guess no one knew it was coming. That was dumb. Now, what I will say is that Bloober Team is great. Every game they've ever made has something good about it. And Layers of Fear ranks up there with their best games, including Silent Hill 2 Remake and Chronos, the first Layers of Fear. So I'm excited, but man, that was a wet fucking blanket. That was terrible. Let me get these super chats, which I appreciate very, very much. Listen to this here, fellas. We got some folks donating, which we appreciate, and I sure want to let you know that that is possible. Super chats, memberships, gifted memberships help support the show. KP says you had your biggest live stream yesterday ever, you old so-and-so. Also, did you play Crystal Theater of Idols? Yeah, we had a good popular stream yesterday. That was fun, although like people in the chat are saying, we made a lot of enemies because I didn't come all over Sons of Sparta. But we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, that was happening. I played the demo of Crystal Theater of Idols, which is from Blumhouse Games, and I wanted to really like it. If you don't know, it's the real ornate looking weapons and first person where you have to cut yourself and the blood becomes the ammunition and stuff. It's a neat idea, but what I played in the demo I thought was very, very disappointing. They're 0 for 3 right now. They put out Fear the Spotlight. They put out that game about the person sleeping, and then they put out this game. And so far, all 3 of them, I'm like, this is from Blumhouse? Blumhouse is supposed to be like the top of the food chain with horror. I was hoping to see some really interesting shit come down from these guys. And so far, not much of anything worth talking about. But thank you for that, KP. And thank you for that, Chocolate Fuzz. He says, ever since you said the thing about lights leading you where to go in levels, I can't unsee it. Every time I'm like, curse you, Jaffe. I know it's how the sausage is made, baby. It's how the sausage is goddamn made. Why didn't I like it? I would have to go and look into why I didn't like it. It's been a while since I played the demo. I remember the combat not feeling very satisfying, and it just it just didn't grab me. I don't know what to tell you. They're tearing you apart over on Reddit. I don't give a shit. What am I supposed to do? Lie to people? I can't help you with that. I mean, but we are going to dive deeper into Sons of Sparta in just a minute. I just want to tell you 2 things. We've been watching this trailer on the show every now and then as it's been promised. The game demo is out now. I don't know if it's out on console, but it is out on Steam. I've played it. It's a very short demo. This is only last about maybe 10 minutes, but it's kind of like, you know what I love about the demo and I love about this? It plays a lot like Limbo or Inside, but it's not arty-farty. And I don't have a problem with arty-farty to some extent. I thought Inside was great, and I thought it was really, really clever in the way it, used its mechanics to represent, more interesting ideas like the value or the fear of conformity and things like that. But this is the first time since I guess maybe Flashback or Out of This World that I've seen this kind of a sort of subgenre, and it's done more for entertainment first and foremost. So it doesn't really feel like you're playing someone's metaphor for depression. It feels like you're like, this is a cool cyberpunk story, and it happens to be done in this style of game. I recommend playing the demo. Let me know what you think. But it's pretty good. It's pretty good. The Metal Gear Octopus game demo is out now as well. Yes, I have downloaded it. I haven't played it yet. But give this a play if you're into such shenanigans. The other thing I've been playing obsessively is Humanities. Terrible title. This game is great. Just came out of early access. I've never played Project Zomboid, but anytime people come into my stream when I'm streaming this, they say it's like Project Zomboid, but then they watch it and they're like, okay, the graphics are better. The one thing it doesn't seem to have that Zomboid has is sort of the mental issues, like the characters get fearful or depressed or whatever, but the systems are deeper in other ways, and it is very, very, very good. I really, really like this game, and I will be streaming it throughout this coming week. So if you're interested and curious about it, I don't know if there is a download for a demo, but the game is out. Costs you like $23 or something. It's quite excellent. It's quite excellent. So I'm playing that. Let's get to God of War. So I made a video. I'm not going to play it for you yet, but I was thinking about this because I put up this video yesterday about my thoughts, or the day before, whenever it was, about my thoughts on God of War: Sons of Sparta. And I was very aggressive in, to some extent. I mean, it's theater. It's meant to be theater. It's meant to be a little dramatic and stuff. But I mean, so here's what I'll tell you. And I did go back and spend another 3 hours playing it. I think it's about another 3 hours. I don't know where the timer is, but it feels like about 2 or 3 hours. And nothing has really changed. But what has come into focus is the following. So my aggressivity towards the game really came from the fact that I think it was a very stupid call. And I'm tied into it more because I not only, did I work at that studio and worked on that game, but I get the sense I know why the worm is turning over there. And I don't know how well it bodes for the God of War trilogy. We'll talk about that too coming up, but it just isn't like, let me show you guys something, right? Let me show you another trailer just to give you, we're going to talk about gameplay in a second, but I want to show you another trailer just to give you a sense of, if you look at Sons of Sparta, and you must know what this already is. I don't want to bore you with it, but if you want to watch the trailer, we can. But if you look at Sons of Sparta and you don't understand why, after that, looking at this trailer, which is Belmont's Curse, that was also revealed on the same day, Belmont's Curse looks higher quality graphics, effects are cool, the weapons you get to use are cool, the enemies seem really interesting and neat, you feel powerful, the cutscenes feel, it's very operatic because it's Castlevania. But here, just watch this, and then we'll talk about Sons of Sparta real quick. And you can say it was outsourced. I get it. But Sony doesn't outsource. If you're outsourcing Patapon, okay, to some Japanese studio that wants to make it. Okay, this is one of your key titles. This is one of your top 2 franchises of all time. Certainly top 3. And what are you doing? You don't outsource. I mean, it seems like there was very little creative oversight, or if there was, and that's what really pissed me off about it. I'm like, this is the same kind of creative bullshit that I saw happen in Ragnarok. And I don't know if Corey's running the God of War team anymore at a meta level. I don't know who is overseeing it, but this ain't God of War, right? But here's Castlevania, and let me show you Castlevania. If you haven't seen the trailer, it's only like 70 seconds. Here you go.
In the name of His Most Royal Majesty, by the grace of God, the King of France.
So already the effect, the production value, the stuff you get to do, like in the trailer alone, it's like, oh, I mean, maybe you can do this for in God of War. She's swinging around, she's warping through things. Her moveset and her attack sets is a lot more interesting. I mean, look at that. You feel like, oh, that's cool. I want to do that, right? You look at Kratos with his little skills here, and it's just like, it just doesn't seem like a worthy God of War. Don't tell me that a God of War Sons of Sparta looking felt and have this kind of enemy. That's, I mean, again, I just don't understand how you're working at Sony Santa Monica,
so
and you're
now
overseeing
we appeal to you,
this
Trevor
incredible,
Belmont,
valuable franchise, and you're not, at the very least, aiming for this, right? Game audio is loud. Yes, sorry, it's just the YouTube. I turned it down. All I was basically saying is it's hard to look at this and not be a little pissed if you love God of War. Because don't fucking tell me, and you're saying they're tearing me apart on Reddit. Don't fucking tell me, Reddit, if God of War showed up, God of War Sons of Sparta showed up, and it had this kind of fluidity, and you're like, shit, Kratos can do that cool move, or look at the effects, or look at the enemy designs, or look at the attacks you get, like when she slams the ground and it's like all the fire comes up. I'm not saying that's the world's greatest or most interesting thing, but it's a hell. At least it feels like a real fucking big boy Metroidvania. It feels like a real fucking game. Not like a mobile phone game. Okay. I'm sorry. And that hasn't changed from what I thought yesterday. And I've played, like I said, now about 4 hours of the game. This looks so much better. Agreed. Now, what I also said yesterday is what I had played of Sparta is fine. It's competent. It's a well-made game. And I stand by that to a large extent. But I don't think it's a great game, and it certainly isn't worthy of the God of War name. But just compare this before we get into specifics to this. And again, I am not one of these guys that doesn't like pixel art. I love pixel art. I love Way Forward. I love Neon Inferno. I love Iron Meat. I'm sorry, you can't come at me and say, oh, you just don't like this kind of art. No, I fucking do. I love chunky pixel art and everything. This looks like they couldn't make up their minds. It's like either go super pixely and make it look like Dead Cells or something like that, or go super fluid like the latest Shinobi, or what we are kind of seeing. It's not as fluid in Castlevania as Shinobi was, but do fucking something. And then on top of it, this character is a total dullard so far. But let me also show you. So here's what I can tell you. People will say, oh, well, Jaffe, you haven't made a great game in a long time. It's like, first off, bitch, you ain't ever made any game. So sit the fuck down. That's A. B, even though my last couple of games were not big hits, although they have their fans, but everything has a fan. What I will tell you is the chops of design are still the same. Okay, there's a lot of reasons games work and don't work, but the concept of being able to look at a game, and this is one of the reasons that I'm super pissed at Santa Monica right now. Not just because they took this, I'm not pissed. I don't care. I'm not like, I'm going to call them up. But I'm just saying it's infuriating because, not just because they, I think, made a game that nobody wants. In my opinion, I don't think most people want to play Kratos as this kid. What is their obsession with making? Nobody wants kids. We don't want to play as Atreus. We don't want to spin off as Atreus. Why do you guys keep making games about like 15-year-old boys? Leave me alone. Go to Epstein's Island or something. Whatever the fuck it is, people I don't know what they're doing, but leave me the fuck alone. I want to be Kratos, motherfucker. Jesus fucking Christ. Why is that so hard? Yeah, well, you see, his story. Oh, it's so gross. Anyway, the point is this, though. The point is this. Well, they should have hired the Metroid Dread developers, which are the Spanish team, which is a great development team, by the way. I didn't like their onboarding, but I've never complained about Metroid Dread being a quality product. The fluidity of the animation, the graphics, the monsters. No, I'm not. No. However, here's what I'm saying is I remain good at, and this is what I was going to say, it pissed me off. Sony used to have, and maybe they still have this, but they used to have a great group of executives that were creative executives. Now I know Scott Rhodey is still there, but one man can only do so much, right? I just want to take you through what maybe a development team might miss, but the creative executives at Sony, and specifically Santa Monica, people needed to have caught this and they didn't. And this is one of the reasons. ADD people, look it up. ADD people, and I have severe ADD, are really good at reading people quickly and reading things quickly. I'm rarely wrong about stuff like that. Similarly here, my first blush after an hour was, this is a competent-esque game, but it's not great. And now I have a little bit more experience playing it, and I can articulate what it is about this, that if you're working at fucking Sony Santa Monica and you were in charge of this, you should probably be ashamed of yourself or get put into a different position, because there are some fucking Bush League mistakes, in my opinion, that keeps this from being not only a first party quality game, but a game that is carrying water for one of your biggest fucking franchises. Okay. So let me walk you through some of this stuff. Okay, here we go. Here's one of the problems with the game. Now, this is not going to get you to buy it or not buy it, but this is Bush League. Okay. Parrying in the game is important. I don't know how important, but it's a valuable tool. They go out of their way to make that clear to you. Okay, great. Parrying, like in any other game, is important to be able to read the patterns of the enemies, to read their animation. And when they're about to attack, you learn the timing and it allows you to advance and be better, blah, blah, blah. Okay, great. I want you to watch this. This is ridiculous. This is stuff we solved in Twisted Metal 1 when we had explosions hitting cars, and the explosions, we learned we had to shrink the explosions or make some of them go translucent, or even just not draw the explosion sometimes when missiles hit, depending on the distance you were from the target, because sometimes the explosion was so big you couldn't see what you were doing. So ask yourself, and I'll just play a handful of these, ask yourself how in the fuck I'm supposed to parry when I can't even see what the enemy's doing, because the stupid fucking health bar is giant above their head, your effects when you hit them, the orbs of other enemies flying around. Just watch. I put about 4 or 5 of these together. Watch this and tell me this could not be easily solved. And the fact that no one saw it and chose, and they chose, or if they did, they chose to leave it in, insane. Right? It'll get worse. You'll see that when he, all the visual noise that's getting in the way of being able to read the animation of the enemy. Your attack, your impact attack needs to be shrunk down, or it needs to be drawn behind the enemy when they are attacking. Because you can't see. Look at this. How am I supposed to read that animation? And it would be fine if it was a game that didn't ask you to parry or block, or if these were moves that these are moves that they can do while you're attacking. There are some moves, of course, that your attack will bring them out of their animation, and that's great. But most of these moves, when these enemies, when they swing their swords or they do their jumps with a little spider or whatever, those, you can't knock them out of the animation. So you button pounding is not going to do it. So the game is asking you to pay attention. It's asking you to pay attention to the animation. And then they put a bunch of fucking schmutz all over the fucking camera to keep you from being able to read it. Now you can say, Jeffy, that's minor. It's not minor. That's what it means to make a first-party game. That's what it means to make a Castlevania game. That's what it means to be a fucking professional. And yeah, I do get pissed off at Sony because that's their job. The team may not have known it, but somebody at Sony should have said, guys, we got to solve this problem. So that's problem A. Here's another one. Here we go. This is tons of visual inconsistencies that make the game confusing. You don't know what is background. You don't know what is foreground. Okay. And I want you to watch and see how inconsistent. Now, maybe in their logic, they're like, oh, no, that's in the background because X, Y, Z. Fine. But that logic may hold throughout the whole game, but visually, their visual language is not communicating that. So first, let's watch the most obvious, which is here's a Kratos, Atreus, whatever this kid's name is. Here's some random 15-year-old that they're obsessed with, throwing his, whatever, slingshot from Apollo. Okay, cool, fine. Watch this first. Okay, but I never had a problem reading combat in God of War 2018 or Ragnarok, says Eternal. Yeah, it was a very different kind of game. That's not this game. Okay, here we go. Watch this now. So in this case, the physics of the rock that he throws, yeah, KP said, thank you for the super chat. He says, this game would be better if you played as a dragon. Well, yeah, but that's every game, including Layers of Fear 3. He throws his little thing and no problem. It hits the fucking thing. There is ray tracing, or I don't know how they're doing it, but they're doing, ray tracing is not the right word, but they're sending out a line and they're going, oh, it collided, play the collision and kill the object. Totally fine. But if that's the case, then why are you showing me the target because this is communicating visually that I'm going to hit the guy. Otherwise, this would be being blocked by the geometry. This is basic shit that I've seen indie games in Unity do. It's not like, dude, you're asking for a processing miracle. No, I'm not. No, I'm fucking not. It ain't like there's, 1,000. It's not like we're not talking about a Misu game with thousands of people on the screen, but it gets worse. Okay, so now he comes up here and it's like this one should hit and this one does hit. Okay, now watch this though. In this case, right, so this one is not going to hit, but the aiming reticle goes through the game. Oh, shut up, you crystal piece of shit. I'm educating you. This is a goddamn masterclass. Cryusa, whatever the fuck your name is. You're a moron if you don't appreciate the wisdom that is being handed down to you. Sit the fuck down, you fucking inbred hillbilly. Watch this. Maybe. Here we go. Okay, so it should go through. It doesn't. That should go through. It doesn't. Okay, fine. It keeps getting worse, though. This is just an example. See one example. Here's another one. Okay, now in this case, you'd go, well, what did we just learn, fellas? What did we just learn? Yeah, thanks, KP. Shut up, Cyrus. I appreciate it, KP. What did we just learn? We learned, okay, I guess the rocks can't go through walls, and it's very specific, and it's very like we're gonna hold the you look, man. Sorry, we're gonna err on the side of even if it looks the aiming reticle tells you you can't go through walls. Okay, fine. Hey, guess what Atreus is doing? Kratos is doing. Bump, 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 bump. It goes through walls. It goes through everything. And the developer will tell you, no, Jaffe, it's not going through it. Those things are in the background. Okay, well, if that's the case, then why does this and this look pretty much the same as this, where he's standing? But it gets worse. It gets worse. Right? It makes no sense why this should go through. And here's how I know it makes no sense. You could even argue that this piece of rock is in the background, but this ledge is in the foreground. How do I know that? Because in a minute, Kratos can jump from this ledge to this ledge. Okay? But somehow the rock will go past this one. Okay? So don't fucking come at me. Here's another one. Look at this. What did we learn a minute ago? We learned that when you throw the rock, it will go through the background. Except when it doesn't. Now it's hitting there. Doesn't go through here. But it will now it'll go through because it's not. I mean, what are they doing? What the fuck are they doing? And I'm sorry, but this is what creative executives do. You get a build, you sit there, you put your music on, you open up a spreadsheet, and you obsess, and you don't come home till 3 a.m. for 4 days in a row. And the team hates it because come Monday morning, they get a list of notes and they're like, fuck. As much as we hate a lot of these, a lot of them are spot on. We have to fix it. So fuck you, Reddit. Okay? Pardon me for wanting to continue to make Sony and Sony Santa Monica specifically and have expectations that team, the studio that I co-built with Alan and Tim and Shannon, is actually should stay at the level of best in the business. Sorry I had expectations, you non-contributing zero. Let's keep going. Look at this. Now this is a peach, hon. I got stuck on this puzzle. Do you know why I got stuck on this puzzle? I understand that I'm supposed to throw my rock at these little yellow things. I get it. But why in the fuck would I think I could hit this? Because there's a big wall in the way. Well, there's not really. There's not really a big wall in the way. It just looks like there is. Watch this. Now it works. How in the fuck? How hard would it have been? Like how did this not get caught by anyone at the team at, what are they called? Mad Cats or Angry Cat, whatever the fuck they're called, or at Sony Santa Monica and go, you know what? That puzzle's confusing. Here's what you need to do. You need to get rid of that wall. And yes, but the support structure of these pulley systems, it needs to be cut, can't be hanged. No one cares. No one's going to notice. Okay. And if so, figure it out. You're an artist, but that looks like it's blocking the goddamn fucking thing. So I go off wandering, going, where's the fucking puzzle? How do I solve it? Okay. That's one example. It gets worse. Now, this one, this game, the game basically is asking me, this is where it wants my eye to go. It wants my eye to go to the fact that, oh, Jaffe, don't you see these bars have been broken? And the puzzle solve is you recognizing it, which they don't even look like bars that have been broken. They look like just grass growing out of a rock. Hang on. Right. So the bars just look like grass growing out of a rock, don't they? They don't look like bars that are broken. So that it wasn't like, oh, I can, I didn't think I couldn't shoot through that, but I certainly didn't read that that was the solve. I just assumed that was the background. The reason I bring that up is look over here now, this next puzzle or whatever, right over in this next part. I guess this is what they look like when they're pristine. Well, what they should have done, if this really was what I needed to see, is even though this still is blocking it in some ways, but they should have basically had something where I can destroy this if I get close enough, or they didn't establish the visual language that this and those broken bars are somehow, when they're broken, they look like this. So that was totally confusing. It made no sense. Okay. Thank you for the super chat, K-Nubs. Why do people say Jaffe's the West Itagaki? Well, I'm alive, so that would be one reason I'm not. Okay, I liked Itagaki. I'm just shitting you. Sad he's gone. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Oh, right, here's another one, right? Remember before where you could shoot through rocks? And it's like, oh, I guess I'll just aim up and shoot. Well, you really won't, Jaffe, because in this case, for whatever reason, these rocks that I just showed you, you can't shoot through. Interesting. Okay. Here's another one. This is minor, but it's like, all of you people that came at me with, what's it called? With, Metroid and saying, oh, Jaffe, you have to look for secrets and stuff, which no, you really don't. For the critical path can be blocked. But don't tell me that most Metroidvanias block the critical path. They'll block paths to secrets or ways to get better upgrades or shortcuts. But in this case, though, I'm like, okay, cool, not a problem. I'll just explore everywhere. Why the fuck not? Well, a lot of this game looks like you can go places and it's just a blank wall. Like, how are you the art director on this game and you don't recognize this looks like an opening? But it's not. You could have just put a big rock there, but they didn't. But they should have. Let's keep going. The game, here's another one. I'll roll through that cave. No, you won't, because it's not a cave. It's just a rock. Here's another one. Look at this. This game, and I hate to, no, I don't. I was going to say I hate to be so annoying about it. I really don't. I'm passionate about this. You should be too, if you care about design. I want you to think about this for a minute. The game has a lot of these ledges that you can jump up to, and they do a pretty good job of sort of magnetizing you. Thank you, Juicy Boots, for the super chat. Magnetizing you towards the ledge so you go into your hang. Okay, cool. Except when they don't, like here. I don't know why this magically doesn't let me grab it. That one kind of makes sense. It's too far up. But what about this one? They don't let you do it. I can do it there. I can do it here coming up. Oh, yeah. So here's another one. Yeah, here's another one. You can't do it on this one right here. Look at this. Why not? Just cause. Just cause. I understand, by the way, that there are reasons for almost everything in a game. Okay. That perhaps they're like, look, when we have a magnetization visual thing here that sucks you in, we can't have two back to back because it creates bugs or whatever. Totally fine. Then you know what you do? You make this platform shorter so you don't have the visual inconsistency. Or you come up with visual language to explain why some things can't be hung on and make that visual language readable, because it ain't readable here. Thank you very much, baby. I appreciate it. What'd you get? You guys got the Girl Scout cookies? Yeah. How much were they? Did they take credit cards? They took credit cards? Girl Scout cookies, you guys.
We got 2 boxes, one for you, one for us.
Okay.
That's $12 for 2.
I'm just going to have one right now.
Sarah said, my dad loves Thin Mints. We have to get him
I
Thin
love
Mints.
Thin Mints. Thank you, baby. Thank you so much, Sweet Potato.
Just thinking of you.
I know. I appreciate
Also,
it.
she drinks some of your coffee.
I'll split it with you if you want. Thank you, guys. Okay. Okay, here we go. So, Nostalgia says they made the game look like a 2014 phone game. The visuals are its own thing. I don't like the visuals. I don't like the thematic of the game, the tone of the game, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, whatever. Let's keep going. So in this case, here we go. Here's another one, by the way. Hey, Sarah, or Tony, can you shut my door? I love your singing, but the audience is not in the mood. Thank you, baby. Okay, listen to this. Okay. Lazy ass California devs need to wake up and learn how to make games. I don't know who made this game. Are they from California? All right, let's keep going though. Seriously. Look at this. Now, is this, if this wasn't part of a bigger problem, it wouldn't be a problem. But these things add up. I can't tell if this tree is a wall or if this tree is something I'm going to fall through if I walk into it. Let's find out together, shall we? Here we go. What's he going to do, you guys? Oh, there's nothing there. It just looks like there's something there. Here's another one. Here we go again. All right, we'll keep going. Okay. Oh, here's another one. These things are all over the game. They're kind of annoying. But they're a consistent piece of visual language. These hanging little whatever, you can hit them and they'll give you yellow orbs, except the ones that are in the background. And those are clearly in the background. The lighting shows it. Okay, not a problem. Thank you for being consistent with your visual language. There you go. You see it. Except when they're not consistent with their visual language. The biggest fucking ones that are lit and bright are just art. You can't interact with them. They're just there. They're just there. Now, again, is that a problem? Not in the grand scheme of things, but these things add up to, like I said, the reason I mentioned that I have ADD and I can read things very quickly and very well and accurately for the most part, a couple mistakes in my past, but mostly I'm right, is I could tell within an hour of playing this that this just wasn't ready. There was just, I couldn't articulate it yet, but all of these things add up. Let's keep going. There's more, my friends. Here we have a buggy and confusing user interface. Now, the bugs you can't handle. There's not much you can do about bugs. Every game ships with bugs. I forgive it. No, this one you're wrong on. The ones you can't hit has sparkles. No, you're wrong. The ones that have sparkles mean that they haven't been exhausted yet. Here's some sparkles right here, which means you can hit it if they have sparkles and yellow will come out of it. But you can still hit it without the sparkles. It's just nothing happens, but it moves back and forth. So no, you're wrong. Every game has bugs. I'm not going to, kill it for this, but I just want to show you. This happened to me twice in the game so far. Yeah, KP says, Jaffe voice, let's keep going, though. Thank you for the super chat. You're right. This was a bug where the map wasn't working. So no matter where I moved, I'm like, why is my guy not moving? And I'm like, okay, maybe I don't understand how the system works. Turns out I understand exactly how the system works. It's just twice when I was playing the game, and it only came out yesterday. I played it twice. The map didn't move with Kratos, and I was halfway across the level. But whatever, that's minor. Here is a problem. Yeah, this was supposed to come to the Intellivision Amico, right? Here is a problem, though, that has haunted, certainly God of War 2018 suffered from this. God of War Ragnarok really suffered from this. Surprisingly, the God of War game with the most sort of overt user interface necessity was God of War Ragnarok Valhalla, and it wasn't as big of a problem. But here, we're back to whoever's designing the interface, it's just shit. Okay, let me explain this. Let me show you what's happening here. You go to the screen where you fuck with the tools, with your items. Okay. Now let's for the moment assume, by the way, that your average person doesn't know what a dory is or an aspis is. It's not relevant. It's not massively important, but I don't know if a dory is the name of the meta topic. Is it a spear? And then there are things underneath the spear, or is a dory a type of spear? Is a Spartan aspis a shield, and then there's like 30 kinds of aspices that I can unlock? Or is aspis a one type of shield, and that's the shield I've picked up? So first off, that's a problem, but whatever. They should have fixed that, but whatever. Now watch this. You can go, by the way, I do want to say thank you so much. We got Diet Coke Commandos. Thank you so much, Nostalgia, for joining our little merry band of fucksticks. We appreciate the support. Thank you, sir. You can go to your gear, and if you press Spartan Aspis level 2, here's what happens. It's very confusing. Then it goes to this Rim of Restoration, and if you click Rim of Restoration, it tells you, here it comes. Hang on. It'll tell you, right, that you have Spartan Trust. But and Spartan Trust is lit up because I'm hovered over it, I guess. But Rim of Restoration is what I have equipped, right? But Spartan Trust, because it's got the circle filled in, looks like that's what I have equipped, even if it wasn't for the highlight, right? And I didn't even know I had anything buried underneath the shield in terms of multiple shield rim types or whatever. I have two. I have Spartan Trust and Rim of Restoration, because I didn't even know that the Aspis was the meta category. And you have the same problem with the spear, right? This is confusing. It is befuddling, confusing. I'm saying the same thing. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It doesn't make any sense why the people at Sony wouldn't have said, hey guys, like, did anybody check this? Did you guys just say, fuck it, give them a check and let them publish it? Did anybody put this through playtest? What the fuck is this? It just doesn't make sense. Okay, so they got a confusing user interface, just like Ragnarok did, but fine, let's keep moving. You see it here as well. I don't fucking know whatever. That one's okay, because it's just a standard upgrade tree. Okay, let's move on to another category, shall we? I think I'm walking you through it here, but you get the idea. I don't want to bore you anymore. I am. Okay. This is weird too. So the game has fast travel, which is great. But look how God, it's just, you know what? Yeah, I am mad. I'm not mad, but it infuriates me that no one caught this. And it's not going to make the game sink or swim individually, but add all of this stuff together. Okay? Watch this. You go to the fast travel and you go to this map. Beats the fuck out of me because all these things are glowing and high. I'm going to unpause it in a minute, but I want you to look at this. This is glowing and sending out a ring. This is glowing. I think you're here, but I can't really tell because this fucking text is blocking the map. Okay. So I want you to watch this and watch how confusing this whole fucking thing is. So all those things are shining and like, what, can I go to any of these? What does this mean? I don't know. It turns out that you're here. So these should have been indented So it was clear that Laconian Woods, that Canopy is within Laconian Woods, Temple of Apollo is in Temples of Olympus, but instead the font is similar, the coloring similar. You don't really understand it, and the way the map is laid out doesn't make any fucking sense. Okay, so what it's saying is you are here now, and if you want to go somewhere else, God knows where Temple of Apollo is. Is it one of these glowing things? Nope, it's way down there. Is it that one? I don't know. Right? I mean, this is just junk. It's junk. Okay, in terms of this issue. Okay, anyway, we talked about this. Let's move on. There's a couple more. Oh, here's one. This is the first time I found this dead animal. I go to the dead animal. There's a triangle above it. I click the triangle. Ooh, what's going to happen? Finders keepers, objective started. Wait, what? The fuck is that? I don't know. Let me see if I can figure it out. It doesn't tell you what it means. You go to your pause screen. It doesn't tell you what it means. It's like you just told me I've started an objective and you're not explaining what the fuck the objective is or what do I do? What are you talking about? We'll keep going. There's a couple more problems with this fucking thing. Level design. Okay. I don't know if this is what happened, but it feels like they designed the levels and then they locked the character motion and jump distance and things before, or they designed the levels first and then tried to shoehorn the way the character moves in it versus adjusting the levels. Because there are a number of places in this game where his jump or his, like when he lands from a jump and you hit jump and you want to jump again, look how many times I'm falling off things, not because I'm an idiot, but you're having to wrestle in places with the controls where some of the ledges are too small for him to take a step before he jumps. There's like 2 examples of this. Watch this. I want to go. Okay. Right. I could not. What anybody who plays 2D games knows is when I landed on that second orange block, immediately you want to hit the jump button again. But apparently, I don't know if the character has to reset. I don't know if you press the jump button, but it doesn't read the jump button until the land animation is concluded. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, it makes you fall off of a lot of things. Here it is again. Right? What? There it is again. Okay, now there's another one coming up. Now this time I stopped and I'm like, okay, I guess it's just controls like shit. There it is again. Okay. Why? I guess I wasn't close enough for the magnet to grab. Other times I grab when I'm really far away from it. Right, anyway, you see, you get the point. But there's a lot of, not a lot, but there's a number of places where it's just super annoying. Like, see that grab? That grab I made it, but in that grab I made it. The other one I didn't. I'm sure it was correct. The code was reading it right, but it doesn't feel generous. And then it feels like that. Like, come on, man. What do you think? I mean, come on. I want to hit that. See how annoying that is? I want to hit this big okay, watch this orange block on the left of your screen that I'm about to jump through. And right when I hit it, anybody who plays games knows that your instinct is to jump again. Instead, you have to stop, I guess, and wait for him to finish. I don't know if you're waiting for an animation to finish. Watch this. Jump. Now jump again. Nope, sorry. Sorry, you don't get it. Fuck you. Yep, you don't get it. Fuck you. It needs to be a lot more fucking fluid. And the fact, yeah, I don't accept it. There it is. You get it. You get the idea. Okay, let's move on. All right, and finally, I think that's a repeat. Sorry, I was angry when I was editing. Just jump, man. Get over there. All right. Finally, Well, the frame rate, yeah, don't judge the frame rate, because the frame rate, because I'm streaming on Talk Studio, that is not the game's fault. I have not noticed any frame rate problems at all with this game. So, but this is something, man. And this is one of the reasons, which we're about to switch gears and talk about God of War Trilogy, that I am worried about Santa Monica with God of War right now. Because you saw it with 2018, but 2018 was a great fucking game, and it was interesting enough that they could get away with Atreus and all that and blah, blah, blah. But it feels like they think it, and I think I know, I could be wrong. The last time I heard who was running Sony Santa Monica now, it ain't Yumi anymore. I didn't know Yumi had left. It's somebody who I think is more about getting the pat on the head from the executives than really fighting the good fight. And it shows. Because someone, in my opinion, of course, but someone here seems to think now they're making games. Hey, I have kids now. I want a game I can play with my kids, and I want Kratos to be feisty, and I don't know what the fuck these guys were thinking. But look at not just the terrible voice acting, not of T.C. Carson, of course, but pretty much everyone else. The kid who plays young Kratos is relatively okay, but all the rest of them are terrible. It's almost like, and the daughter, Calliope, I'm certain that's somebody's kid at the studio, because she's rubbish. Not as a human. I'm sure she's a delightful child, and I wish her well. But come on. And then look at listen, I just want you to listen to some of this fucking dialogue. Listen to this fucking shit.
You left fur all over the sculptor's office.
Right. Well, what are the odds? Phasalis, help me look for that thing I was looking for. I know I'd be sad if it was our property that was stolen.
Oh, right. The thing. You escaped punishment today, you pair of monkeys.
Hey, either of you seen lions in this forest?
No way. Lions don't live anywhere near here.
Talking monkeys? The gods are so silly sometimes.
Calliope,
Well, they are, aren't they?
shall I continue or not?
Yes, please.
Are you shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? It's terrible. Just fucking terrible. Jaffe, it's not a good look to blindly speculate about who gives a shit if it's not a good look, Matt? I know what's going on there more than most people. And I know the person who I've been told is running the place now. But yeah, you know what? Sorry, I'm a fucking fan. I paid $30. They didn't give me this for free. I'm not getting paid to jizz all over this fucking thing. And I'm telling you that as somebody who, spent his money and also has a deep relationship and love, not just of the game, but of the studio. Sorry. And I do worry that is going, because people have been speculating, well, are they going to have a problem with the gore and the nudity and the sexuality? And I was like, no, I have no information on this, but I'm like, no, they're not going to have a problem with that. They know that the audience would fucking eat them alive. The audience clearly is eating this up. So, maybe that's not the case. Hector, hey, buddy. Hector says there's a 9-minute doc on the game if you want to review it. Not really, because it doesn't matter. People are like, people love to parrot the marketing. Sorry, Sony marketing. Sorry, Sony PR. But to show people how it works. But all these people who are now basically parroting, it's a passion project. Who gives a shit? What the fuck do I care? It wasn't a passion project for me to fucking reach into my wallet and pay for the goddamn thing. Why the fuck do that doesn't mean that they get a get out of jail free card and doing the work. It's not, Now again, what I would say though about this is that there are good things about this game so far. I don't plan on continuing to play it. I've put about 4 hours in. I'm good. I have other things I'm enjoying a lot more. But at a level design standpoint, at the sense of unlocking things to advance, going back here and there and whatever, it's a competent Metroidvania. It's not a bad game by any means, but it is a terrible God of War game. It is a terrible first party game. And it is an embarrassment that Sony Santa Monica allowed this to go out, is what I would say. But just as a straight up game, no, it's fine. The other thing I'll say is somebody was saying they're playing it right now and the constant starting or stopping with them having to talk and do little dialogue. You're not wrong. You're not fucking wrong. It's gotten a little bit better. But yeah, it's, it is certainly in the first hour. It's just like constant. I haven't noticed much gore at all, really. And then you compare that to, by the way, let me just show this to put a finer point on it, and then we're going to move on to God of War Trilogy. Here you go. This is what it's competing up against. And this, I'm sorry, if you're first party and you're Santa Monica and you're putting this out, and it is from one of your top 3 brands, I would argue not just at PlayStation, but at Sony in general, and it doesn't look at least this good, you're doing a bad job.
Majesty. By the grace of God, the King of France. So now.
All right, you get the idea. Somebody says in the chat, who is it? No, Ace, no, baby. Go place. Jonas says, to be fair, this game is the studio that made Dead Cells. They are peak. This is first party Sony. This is first party fucking Sony. They need to be peak, or don't hire them, or build a team. I am all over the idea of doing smaller games. I've been bitching about that and asking Sony to do that forever. I love Metroidvanias. I got no problem with that. But if you're going to do it with some fucking pride and do it right, because that ain't this. Okay. Cyrus and Matt says, KP, chill out. Thank you for the super chat. Machine XP says, classes in session, sit down and stay off Reddit. You goddamn right. I'm not sitting here with you guys just be, you know, people are, oh, Jeffy's salty. About what? I'm a passionate guy. I've always been a passionate guy. I'm sorry. This is disappointing. If you love it, it's subjective. I respect that, and go with God. Enjoy the shit out of it. But for me, no, I apologize, but I don't think it's very good. Also, Vincent Castrol, thank you so much, buddy, for the super chat. The game getting greenlit and releasing shows Sony abandoned the Sean Layden philosophy of any PS game has to be first, best, or must. Right. And let me tell you something else. The fact, what do you mean it was a shadow drop? So why are you guys giving these people work for us? We are the customer. Who gives, so it's a shadow drop. So it means what? It's allowed to be crap. It's not crap, but I mean, it's allowed to be. Jaffe, this game was outsourced to a third-party dev. Who gives a shit? Twisted Metal was a third-party dev. I mean, they were second party, but this is second party. So you think I didn't live, eat, breathe, and sweat and be willing to die for those games when I worked for Sony? And if you're outsourcing Castlevania to another, then good. They found the right developer and they stuck with it. And they said, you know, whoever this studio or that studio knew enough to decide how to do it and hold them accountable. Jaffe, their budget was $30. Relax. Their budget was $30. Well, okay. Well, that's fair. It was probably a side project, says Andrew, by 3 people. How are you guys defending anything like this? It was probably, did you just write that? Did it go? Hang on. I have to see. Did you delete it already? Hang on. Andrew says it was probably a side project by like 3 people being told to crunch something out in a few months. Yeah. Well, I don't think so, but that's a problem. No, it's not. Arathizel says this is what you asked for, low cost, budget oriented experiences. That's an absolute ridiculous comment. There are games, hell, this, again, this was in early access for a while. This game is astounding. It is amazing. And this is not some big budget Sony quality game. And in that, they knew they couldn't lean on production value. Just because it's low budget doesn't mean it gets a pass. Maybe from the parents of the people who made it. But Jesus fucking Christ, give me a break. You guys, I'm sorry, you just don't know what you're talking about. Some of you guys, where it's like, well, this is second party. It's not first party. What? Most first party games started as second party studios that Sony bought because they were so good. Insomniac used to be second party. Naughty Dog used to be second party. Single Track used to be second party. Give me a fucking break. If a first party developed game ever comes out this mediocre, you'll have a point. No, I have a point now. You're just wrong. I was there. I saw why Sony became the brand you adore. And it wasn't because they're like, well, if it's second party, fuck it. If it's third party, fuck it. We only care about first party. No, because they knew most customers didn't think like that. Here's another example. Now, the game may end up being brilliant. I didn't lose my shit when I first saw Arc Raiders, but I was surprised watching State of Play the other day to learn that this 4-loop game is a first party published game with Bad Robot, which means that I'm sorry, unless that game blows the doors off in gameplay, that's another disappointment. It's the most generic fucking thing I think I've seen in my goddamn life. So no, you're just simply wrong. Sony didn't get to be Sony because they were like, it's second party. Don't worry about it as much. No. We worried about it all the fucking time, regardless of if it was first or second party. You just don't know what you're talking about. Okay. Let us move forward. Okay, let me just make sure I'm missing anything. God of War deserves top talent like the guys who made the latest Shinobi. Yeah, that would have been great, Junior. And Ninja Gaiden, the guy who made Slain and Valfaris would have worked better too. Absolutely. I was talking about that yesterday. Absolutely ridiculous is what this is. And then KP says, do you think Sony can save themselves here by bringing back the Dreamcast? Sony right now doesn't need to save themselves at all. Thank you for the super chat, both you guys. But I'm just saying that, I just think if you're Sony Santa Monica, you need to sit down and have a come to Jesus with whoever allowed this to go out like this. Have a point about Sons of Sparta in the call-in room. Oh, okay, yeah. This is Hector. And then once we're done talking to Hector, we are going to jump tracks and get on to God of War Remake. Did I return it, Anna G? Hey, Anna G, you can't return it. I mean, it's really hard to get a return on Sony. It's much easier on Steam, but it's not for sale on Steam. Hector, how you doing, bud?
Good, thank you. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, I wanted to just bring a quick point about the fact that I believe this is the first God of War game, except for maybe a Game Boy release, with a rating that is not mature. This is a teen game. And
well, there was never a Game Boy release. There was a cell phone release.
There was, yeah, I never played it. There was something. It was Betrayal, I think was the title. So my curiosity is, what do you think of this concept of, okay, let's take this IP that is generally within the blood and gore mature rated space and go, let's make a teen game. Maybe
staggeringly stupid.
There you go.
I didn't even know this was a teen game. That even makes it worse.
There you go.
because ask yourself what that really means. You're talking about a game now that is only being sold digitally. So it isn't like, I mean, and even when games were teen, there was a very big gap between I'm a parent that only lets my kid play e-games because my kid's 7, and then a bunch of 11-year-olds getting Call of Duty, God of War, Mortal Kombat. It wasn't like there was 12-year-olds salivating, I can't wait till I'm old enough to play Call of Duty. And that was when you had to go into a store to buy it. Now somebody at Sony was like, what we should do? Let's age down God of War, which is a digital product. The parents aren't knowing what these fucking kids are buying half the time anyway, less so than they did back in the brick and mortar days. So I couldn't tell you why they made this into a T game. That makes me even angrier, Hector. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
What a dumb fucking idea that was. Who the fuck wants God? That, I mean, that is the most boneheaded, ridiculous decision. That is
I
not
feel like
what the
with
game
that
is.
in mind, a lot more of the design decisions make sense in terms of less gore, less etc.
Well, gore's not design. That specific
design,
choice makes more sense, of course, but why would you make that choice to begin with? But that doesn't negate all the other problems.
Right. But I mean, in the general sense, the tonality and all. And I suppose the curiosity to me is outside of the strict gameplay stuff you were reviewing earlier.
Yeah.
If you're stuck with this, God of War has to be teen. Does that at all change your evaluation of what this product is?
No, and you know why? Because my guess is the Castlevania trailer I showed you earlier is probably also teen. And if it's not teen, it's probably because it has maybe some weird religious stuff in there or overt sexuality. But Castlevania is not known for being a hardcore violent game. It's monsters and there's blood, but it's, so my guess would be that the answer is you could have still made it cool and make it a T. Making it a T is not like, Daddy, those gods are silly. The fuck is the matter with you fucking idiots? I'm serious, man. It makes me mad.
Wacky. That was really wacky.
I mean,
it really sounds like Disney movie dialogue.
That we're like, those kids, and like what your little 8-year-old daughter, which is what I see all the time in games. You get married, you have a kid, and then you're just like, I want to make it so my kids can play it. Then make a fucking kids game, you moron, because that's not this.
Yeah, that's
you think you're
I
gonna be
mentioned in the
sitting
chat
there
earlier.
watching it and patting the old rapscallion on the head. Daddy, I love Kratos. He's so silly with his daughter. It's like you when you put me to bed and say, you go back to bed. It's like, shut the fuck up. This is God of War, you fucking morons, man. It pisses me off, Hector Howell. Pisses me
the
off.
Warcraft franchises had a similar issue with their recent pivot towards more of a childish direction. So this seems to be industry-wide in a number of ways, which is obnoxious. Do you feel like it's going to be something that comes to roost and hurts them in the long run?
No, because it might hurt the game. It won't hurt Sony. They'll adapt if they need to. They'll basically say, it's not selling. I don't know how this thing's going to sell. I know it was huge out the gate because, I mean, I bought it within 5 minutes of it being announced. I'm like, shit, a new God of War. This is cool.
TC Carson sold us all, right?
Yeah. So, but I if this does really well, then, cool. But I don't think it will. You've seen it. Does this look like something you want to play compared to all the other options out there in the Metroidvania genre?
Specifically, what made me think that it wasn't going to be any priority of mine to play was that I didn't feel it had a strong plot hook. It's like, great, here's the premise of Kratos telling a story to his daughter. Here's Kratos as a kid fighting the Cyclops. And then it's just into blah, blah, Sparta, side quest. Yeah. What's are we killing Ares? No. Are we chasing Zeus? No, it's just.
And what weapons are cool? Maybe eventually he opens something, but do you really want a fucking spear? What is this? Like the beginning of a fucking survival game, like The Forest, where it's like, I have to make a spear out of, reeds and that I found on the beach and some bamboo.
I needed a critical revision.
Yeah. I mean, it was terrible. I think it's junk, man. I'm very disappointed in this game and in these people.
It's too bad.
All right, Hector. Thanks for the call, buddy.
It was a pleasure.
Anytime. See you soon. There goes good Sir Hector Howell off into the night. So now let's switch gears to the God of War remake. What I will say, hang on. I'm reading about somebody who worked with, I can't say what I'm reading about. I just let's move on. But I'm just getting some inside baseball on the making of the game. So now they announced, no, I was not mad when you guys don't get it. I have been thrilled. This is how I'm not salty about this. And people want to label me as that. And they're just simply wrong. Okay. I loved God of War 2018. I loved God of War Ragnarok Valhalla. I enjoyed some of the PSP games. And I've loved the Twisted Metal TV show. When they do it right, I'm thrilled. And right is subjective, but I don't know where a lot of you guys got it in your mind that when you pay your money, you abdicate your ability to be critical. or angry about something when it sucks. I happen to like, thank you, Ryan. I happen to like the last season of Stranger Things, and I consider myself a big Stranger Things fans, but I know that there's a lot of hardcore Stranger Things fans that didn't like the last season. Are they just supposed to shut up? They've given their fandom, their time, their money for various tchotchkes and merch. They subscribe to Netflix. They don't have a right to be pissed at something they love. I would argue that the more angry you get when the thing you love drops the ball, the more of a fan that you are, because you really do love this shit. Anyway, so here's the bigger point though. So God of War, I was happy and surprised because I didn't know anything about this. I mean, we had all heard the rumors that there was a God of War remake coming. I didn't know anything about this. That it was going to be revealed the other day. But what I will say that's interesting is that, I didn't know if it was going to be 1 game or 3 games. It sounds like they're making 3 games over 10 years. And this is not going to be some small thing. It's going to be like the Final Fantasy remake stuff, which I think is amazing. That they're doing that. And so people have been speculating now. There's 2 big speculations, right? One of them is, what's the camera? I honestly think we already know the camera. I think they've already showed us what the camera is going to be. And I'll show it to you right. One of the reasons I loved Valhalla is because they went to Greece, or in his mind, and you got to play the OG character for PS5 level graphics. And you got to play in the sets of, well, they'd be redone, of the classic God of War games, right? And so I think it's clear they're going to do that. And I think, for PS5, it looks great. It's going to look so much better for PS6. You're about to see the cage push section. And, I get it. I mean, I get that, I would like to also see a remaster and not just a remake, but I think it's clear that this is what the remake is going to be. Let's see if I can get to the cage push, which is my favorite part that they remade. Is this it? Oh, they redid the boat for exactly.
Its own aegis, destroyed by a 3-headed sea serpent that plagued my fleet.
And then they did the thing where he pushes the guy in the cage at the mountain.
My half-brother.
I think it's right here, maybe? Yeah, here you go.
Say, the decor is...
Well, you have to push it up, and you've got the skeletons coming up, and you have to fight them. And if you miss, it gets pushed back down. So, I got no issues with this. I thought this was really, really cool. I don't have a problem with the camera. Certainly, it's a very different game, but it's a remake, so I'm okay with that. I hope they add bosses and they make the Hydra level, more interesting. They put bosses back in that we didn't get a chance to put in the first time. I think I got no issues with that, but I would love to see a remaster. But what it also tells me though, is if they're going to go that far with this, that they're going to remake all 3 games in this style. And I don't know that, but it seems clear. This was probably a test to begin with, if they're going to do this, then they probably will make some story changes. And I don't even have a problem with that. Things have to evolve. What I hate about it, and again, I get why Corey did it, and that's why I remain a big fan of 2018. But the problem is, and this is what pisses me off too, because you can't really have an intellectual conversation with a lot of these fucking morons, because they're morons, I suppose. They're like, Jaffe, you just are still stuck as being an edgelord. People grow up. We grew up and we want a mature character. And I'm like, no, you don't. Not this one. Not fucking this one. Okay. I understand, just like I've said this before. I don't know why this is hard for people. Kratos is a pulp comic book action movie hero. One of the main reasons Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny died is because Harrison Ford was obsessed with going, I want to see what Indy's like when he's older, and he has to pay the consequences for all of his choices, which weren't always, it's like nobody wants that from Indiana Jones. You as the actor may want that, and that's great. Go do fucking dinner theater or some one-man play about all the characters and where they are 30 years after they made their movies. I'll go see. It'll be interesting. But I want to fucking watch a goddamn movie or read a comic or play a game with characters I love. It would be like Leon coming back for Requiem, Resident Evil 9, but now he's just a totally different character. Well, they change. People grow. Yeah, people grow. These are video game characters. These are fictional fucking characters. And Matt says God of War is not indie. It was designed in the same way. It was designed to be a comic book hero. You don't know. You weren't there. I wasn't only there. I was the guy who designed it. So you're just fucking wrong. Now, again, they can do what they want with the character. It's their character. I'm not mad about that. But don't ask me to act like, oh, if I was just more mature, I'd get it. No. Hulk is still Hulk. Wolverine is still Wolverine. Granted, Wolverine, Deadpool, all these characters adjust to the times, but they don't grow. It's not like Deadpool wakes up one day and it's like, you know what? I'm going to stop breaking the fourth wall and stop being such a snarky guy. He may do it for a few issues and then he's going to go back to what people like. But no. So my point is they are, my guess is based on their behavior and what's the famous saying? If people show you who they are the first time, believe them. They didn't have a problem retconning and retro changing the essence, the tone of the game. They don't have a problem putting out a T-rated game. And the camera is so different and they're calling it a remake. They're not calling it a remaster. My guess would be that whether or not it has sex or not, I don't know. Whether or not it's gory or not, I don't know. But I would say right now it's 50-50, simply based on their past behavior. I hope they don't do it. I hope it's just as sexy and gory as it's always been. But, you know, for PS6. But my guess is if you had to ask me, I would give it a 50-50 chance based on what they've done already. I mean, who the fuck makes a God of War T-rated game? So you can best believe that they're probably like, let's tone it down a little bit. Why? You fucking cowards. Why? Nostalgia has a theory. He says they want to do what they did to The Last of Us, make something that Hollywood and TV audiences will want. You know what? Fuck off then, is what I would say. Last of Us isn't getting, it's being canceled or they're not doing it after the third episode. Gran Turismo was a T. That movie didn't do that well. Uncharted was a T. That movie did well to get a sequel, but it wasn't, you know. And I like PlayStation Productions, by the way. I'm not knocking them. I'm saying that you guys worry about the game audience. I'm just, it pisses me off. There is no reason to think Sony first party would tone down God of War. I just told you why. I just gave you a reason. But again, I hope you're right, man. I really do. But right now, I'd give it 50-50. Why would they make the fucking Sons of Sparta a fucking T-rated game? Why would they not just give us violent, gory Kratos and beautiful, chunky 2D pixel art? Explain that to me. You can't. I understand they didn't tone down The Last of Us. Great. But they haven't they have remade it over and over and over. So, hey, I hope you're right. I hope you're right. But given the fact that they're willing to make these changes with the camera, and given the fact that they are making the Sons of Sparta a T-rated game, I would say it's 50-50. I would say it's 50-50. But I hope they do a remake. But I think there's a shame there. I really do, especially amongst some of the people at Santa Monica, especially some of the leadership at Santa Monica. I have a feeling, and I don't have proof of this, it's just I know some of the players still, that they're not artists. I mean, a lot of the team is hardcore artists. I'm talking about some leadership people now. I'm not talking about the individuals making the shit. They want pats on the head from management. They're not artists. I've worked with a couple of these people I have in mind for a while. They never wanted to rock the boat. They never wanted to push back. They were the ones that got along to get along, and that's just fine for them. And I worry And I'm not talking about Corey. I'm not talking about Eric. I'm not talking about the creatives. I'm talking about people who are running things in a specific. I'm not going to tell. It's not Rhodey. Rhodey's amazing. I'm not talking about that guy. And I'm not going to give you names, but I know these people, and I believe in the leadership positions, and I never liked them, and they never liked me, and I don't blame them because I made their lives difficult. But I made their lives difficult because I wanted the fucking gamer to have something awesome. And I didn't give a shit if management liked me. I didn't give a shit if PR liked me. I served at the pleasure of the audience, and so should they. But, we'll see what happens. I hope I'm eating my words. I hope it turns out that it is super violent and sexy and gory. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. Okay. What else we got lined up for today? Hang on a minute. Oh, we got Rip God of War. Let's bring him in. All right, you're on. What's up, buddy?
What's up, Jaffe? Can you hear me?
Knew it was Turtle. People thought you were running for the hills. You've been away for a while. What happened, buddy?
I feel like I call in like once a month.
You never know. I'm okay with it if you don't want to call in, but people are like, did Pete Turtle get scared off?
No. I would call in more. It's just that I don't want to get banned. So
how many
just
calls,
once in a
you
while.
only get a call a day from prison. I get it. So what's up?
Well, no, listen, I'm calling about this terrible remake that's being done.
Well, we don't know that yet, though. We don't know that
what?
yet. What?
We don't know what.
We don't know if it's going to be toothless. It might still be sexy. It might still be violent.
Come on.
We don't. Well, we have to be clear with the audience. I say
this
it's
is
a
why
50-50 chance.
This is why I warned you years ago. I was calling in and I was telling you what they were doing with God of War 2018, the direction they were going in. I
like
saw
2018.
Well, then you're a part of the problem. If you want a game where you're half the time you're playing as a child, and then you're complaining about them making a T-rated God of War game, that's on you.
Play it. You didn't even play it. You didn't play as Atreus in 2018.
You control him. You don't fully play as him, but you're doing a lot of stuff. You're interacting with him. You're making him shoot bow and arrows for combos.
Right, that's fair.
Then,
that's fair.
And then in the sequel, half the game you're playing him.
Oh, I didn't like.
And
the
he's in
sequel at all.
he's in an
Didn't like the
interracial
sequel at all.
relationship.
I ain't standing up for the sequel.
He's in an interracial relationship. They turned it into a Disney game in the sequel. It was absolutely terrible. And I was telling you this from the very beginning. And what they're going to do now is they're going to take the ones that people loved because they're ashamed of their history. They're ashamed of what you created. They're ashamed of the people that were influenced by that game. That game influenced me. That game had nothing but titties.
Well, maybe they have a point.
That game had nothing but titties. It had nothing but violence on women too. It's what made me the husband I am today. I'm a great husband.
What are you doing for Valentine's Day for your wife, for your girlfriend, whatever?
I don't do it. I hang out with
Taking
my
her to Chuck E. Cheese, are you?
No, I hang out with my side piece. I'm actually waiting to pick her up. I'm not hanging out with my wife on Valentine's Day.
Lord have mercy. All right. Well, listen, thank you, Pete Turtle, for calling. Call back on a non-game show, though, because that audience loves you. Call into Lolcow Crypt on Monday.
I think Tech said I'm not allowed to.
He didn't say that. Hit me up in the Discord. We'll talk about it.
All right, cool. I'll call him.
All right. See you, Deb. Bye.
Later, man.
There he goes. Off into the night, fellas. Okay. Listen to this. K-Nub saying for the super chat, Sony should wait till Lulan, the Cursed Sand, comes out and see how it sells. Because I personally would love a remake of God of War Trilogy with those graphics. Yeah, that game looks really, really fucking cool, actually. 100%. Thank you so much, Optimus. Thanks for making cool games with a cool character. Well, it wasn't just me. A lot of us did it. And I have no clue what a lot of the other team feels about it. In fact, I know some of the old team called in last night and said that they are hiring, or they've brought back some of the old guys to work on it. Now, these are good guys. They're not going to spill the beans, but I would be curious what their take is when they can give it. Okay. Let me see. Do we want to do, you know what? Here's what we're going to do. So let me just check something for you guys real fast. We have some other topics, but I think I've exhausted myself. I'm an old man. And I'm going to be doing a stream. Hang on. Hill thing. So here's what we'll do. I'll chat with the chat for a little bit, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll get to some of the other topics on the next Gavin and Games because we're already getting into an hour and 45 minutes. But we'll get to Silent Hill and we'll get to the new Hellraiser game. We'll get to the state of play. I enjoyed state of play. I thought there were some good state of play stuff. Jaffe, did you see Obama talking about aliens? I have not yet, but we will bring that up on Locale Crypt. If you know, Locale Crypt's a show I do at a place called Locale Crypt on the LCU, the Locale Universe, and we do it from 7 a.m. California to 9 a.m. So hopefully you'll tune in there. That's where we talk more about politics and weird stuff and aliens. This is primarily games, but I have had a couple people tell me that Obama was talking about aliens, so I want to check into it. Darth Nugget says, I'm happy for TC Carson. That's dope. He gets to return. Oh yeah, I am as well. That makes me happy. I don't agree with that. Darkness Within. He says, fuck Cory Barlog in God of War 2018. I think Cory did a really great job on 2018. And I think he was up against the wall trying to figure out how to make this relevant and keep it going. And I think he did a really smart thing. I just think that they ended up with, writing themselves into a corner, and now they're kind of stuck with this, and Cory's moved on to his own thing, I guess. I don't know who's minding the store, but whoever it is that's letting this shit happen, I don't know what to tell you. Okay. Yeah, I agree, Bite. Cory saved God of War. Yeah, I think there's a great deal of truth in that. I don't think he ruined it at all. I think the biggest problem with 2018 is, like I said, the gimmick was so strong, but at the end of the day, the character that was left behind, which was the Kratos we now have, he was done with his arc. He was done with his story. He's not interesting. And certainly young Kratos isn't interesting. I just don't understand. I don't understand what they're doing over there. I mean, even if you're making God of War Sons of Sparta, I assume you would be like, we need think about that for a minute. I want you to think about this for a minute. You're making God of War Sons of Sparta, and at the end of the day, let me show you this. God of War. At the end of the day, you make a decision that this character is your lead. You say this weapon is approved, stamp. That's our weapon, boys. You say that the design is approved. Could you be more fucking generic? There's nothing about this weapon. There's nothing about this character that is compelling. And this is what I don't get about these people at Sony these days. It's like George Lucas when he said, it always blew my mind when he was talking about the Phantom Menace. And he said, well, I'm sorry if you don't like the story about trade negotiations and Phantom Menace, but that's the story. That's what happened. It's not real, George. You're the writer. You can make it whatever you want. So just because Nathan Drake has retired, Cassie Drake may not be a character you want to saddle with a huge franchise. Figure it out. He's not real. He doesn't get older. His knees don't go out. Okay. Just because Kratos at one point in his life was indeed a boy before he became the Spartan warrior, make him interesting. Make him look interesting. Give him a weapon that's cool. And again, maybe that happens 5 hours into the game. I've only played 4 hours, but frankly, sorry, that's part of your marketing is I want to look at a character and go, I want to be that dude. That dude's badass. What the fuck? So no, I'm sorry. I don't know what the fuck they're doing. Yeah, people can think I'm bitter. Darth Nugget was, I can't explain that anymore. Right. Hang on. I want to get this comment. Ghetto God says God of War 2018 is my favorite God of War game. I love the camera change and the combat. If they remake the trilogy with that camera and combat, it's going to be fucking great. Yeah, I think again, I think we already know. We've gotten to play a little bit of it in Valhalla, and it was really cool. Hang on, I want to find where did that go? Oh, here it is. This is coming in from El Prez. Thank you for the super chat. Corey didn't sound keen on a remake last he spoke about it, citing directors like Spielberg for making the mistake in re-releases for movies. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I would have liked a remaster, but I don't mind a remake. Maybe they're doing a remake because they wrote themselves into a fucking corner. Or maybe they're doing a remake because they want to retcon it. So this particular Kratos is not the Kratos from the actual God of War games because he's just too angry. He's just too angry. No, I don't think Corey's directing the remakes now. But yeah, it seems all game developers, says Matt, are fascinated with their characters getting older. Kratos, Old Snake, Drake. Go to therapy. Deal with your shit in therapy. Maybe that should be like a prerequisite for getting to direct a fucking narrative-based game. You want to put your own shit in a game. That is part of the art. But it doesn't have to be so fucking on the nose, man. You're still making entertainment. Can you imagine walking into a meeting if this wasn't Kratos, if this wasn't God of War, and going, I found our new character. I found our character who's going to saddle this entire franchise. Oh, excellent. Show him to us. Show him to us. Here he is, folks. And people are like, is he behind the guy you're showing me right now? That's your mascot character? That's your main fucking character? Just some generic dude? Come on. There is an entire, and this was done by design. Kratos comes up on the deck before he gets into Athens in God of War 1, and he looks at Athena, the statue, and says, I think he says, 10 years, Athena, 10 years I have served the gods. The whole idea was we would have basically the ability to make James Bond stories. We had 10 years of Kratos in his prime before he became the God of War, but with his chain blades and all of the kind of core mechanics that we could just tell individual stories. Here's where the gods task Kratos with, I don't fucking know, going and slaying the father of the Titan of Pandora's temple. I never wrote anything, but there's a whole chunk there that you could do. Anyway, disappointing fact, says K-Nubs. Young Kratos sounds like P. Turtle. Why do you sound like a little whiner, says KP? I don't know. But let me explain something to you. About this real quickly. This idea that Jaffe's salty with Sony. The only person I really know at Sony anymore is Scott Rohde, who was at the DICE Awards. We saw him on camera the other night. And I have a great deal of affection for Scott. I think he's a great creative executive. I think he's been instrumental to so much success from this company. But I'm sure I'm missing a few people, but for the most part, I don't know these guys anymore, right? Other than the people I mentioned earlier who might be running Sony Santa Monica. I don't care if you think I'm salty with Sony. I only care in that it's unfortunate that because I put such a premium on honesty and genuine connection with people who watch my streams, that you think I would be lying to you. When I tell you Ghost of Yode is my favorite action adventure game of all time, that doesn't sound like I'm being salty with Sony. When I tell you God of War 2018 was awesome and I loved it, that doesn't sound like I'm being salty with Sony. But anything that's negative, you guys create a narrative in your brain that says, we can't take what Jaffe's saying serious because he's just upset. I'm like, newsflash, bitches. I put you in the same camp where the people who say, oh, look how far Jaffe has fallen. He's just doing YouTube now. I love this job so much. I am so happy doing this. I am happier doing this than I ever was making video games. I'm sorry that if it doesn't hit your list of jobs that you consider noble, I'm sorry about that. I wish I wouldn't be such a disappointment to you. But I get to wake up and talk to people from all over. I'm going to sell you on it. You like it, you don't. You respect it, you don't. But I wish, at least for the moment, you would entertain the idea that sometimes people can be upset with things because there's not an ulterior motive. They just don't like it. They just don't fucking like it. How about that? Jaffe says, Big Cat, I disagree often, but you're spot on with Sons of Sparta. Don't apologize. Keep doing the critiques. It's fascinating. It's needed. Like you said, people don't know anything. They really don't. A lot of them. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you, Big Cat. Where did it go? Hang on. I like Tsushima better, says Ghetto. I was bored with the first 9 hours of Yote. Cool, but I loved it. I love Tsushima, but I absolutely love Yote. I think it's fantastic. This is being done at every turn, Jaffe, says Jonas. You see this done to anyone who criticizes anything these days and has for a long time. Yeah, fuck them. Go fuck yourselves. All you fucking morons, go fuck yourself. Right. 3 end user says work from home, talk about video games. Sounds sweet. It is sweet. And then I get to go over to Lolcow where I get to talk about things that aren't video games that I still love that pisses off the video game people because they don't want politics over here. They don't want me to talk about UFOs over here. So I got a show over there I can do that's also fun to do. God forbid, not making. Why don't you go make a fucking video game? If you think it's the greatest job in the world, then you go fucking do it. I did it for 20 years. I want to do this now. May I have your permission to do this now, you fucking condescending, non-contributing twat? How do you sustain the stakes, says Cucamonga, of the story or concept if the character reverts back to the status quo, regardless of the past installments? Yeah, it's a great question. And when I was considering back in the day writing comic books, I asked Mark Waid, a very famous comic artist of like the early 2000s. He still does, he wrote Kingdom Come, great comic writer, not artist. And I said, how do you do that? Because people always say writing is about arcing the character. But if you arc Peter Parker over a year's worth of comics, he's no longer the character we know and love. And he says, yeah, what you usually have to do is do that with like a side character. So you introduce a character and through the hero, we get the satisfaction of a character arcing, but the character can arc a little bit. But when a big character arcs, it's still the character. That's why Wolverine today, even though he's had all kinds of crazy adventures, it's not like Wolverine got his shit together and he's not angry, right? It's not like Bruce Banner, David Banner, whatever, struggles to keep the Hulk in. Now it's different, but when he was struggling with that, they're still the characters you know and love. Otherwise, the fans revolt, as they should. As they should. Okay, hang on. Who cares? Okay, I'm going to read it because it's amusing. I do kind of think, says Darth Nugget, you're in denial. Well, we have a therapist in the chat. Do I seem like I'm in denial machine? And you'd actually be more fulfilled if you were still creating something, games, movies, comic books. I think you need more of an outlet. I don't care what you think. I mean, I clearly do because I'm addressing it, but you go make a comic book. I've done it. It wasn't fun. The end result was fun. Watching people play it was fun, but having to sort of pull that out of me and fight people over it and argue and be political and build the team, it's exhausting. And it's only gotten more exhausting as the industry has gotten harder. I'll consult because then I'm like, hey, I'll show up and give you what I got and I'll put my heart and soul in it, but I'm not going to live or die by it. But I'm good, man. I'm fucking good, dude. Do you agree with Darth Nugget, says KP? Thank you for the super chat. No, I'm telling him right now I don't. Okay. What are my thoughts about the upcoming Sony Santa Monica game? Which one? I mean, they haven't. You mean Corey's? I'm very interested in in seeing what Corey's working on, because I do, and I've said this before. I think Corey is a easily better writer than I am. There's no doubt. He's better. I hate working with actors when it comes to cinematic based games. I need actors, but I usually send somebody else. Hang on a second to direct them because I'm not good at it and I don't like it. Hang on a second. I think at a game design level, if you're talking like the nuance of a fighting game, Corey wipes the floor with me. But I think I'm probably better at mechanics and tuning. But who knows? Who cares? But he's great. And I'm excited for his game because it'll be the first time I've seen him direct anything that wasn't something he had to direct. Like he was handed God of War. He was handed Tomb Raider when he was up at Crystal Dynamics. When he was working with George Miller, I'm assuming he was kind of handed Mad Max. It sounds like this time we get to see from the very beginning really what he's passionate about. And given that he is so talented, I think that's exciting. So yeah, I'm very curious. What's going on with the game you were prototyping? I'm bored of it. That's why I'm not doing it right now. Maybe later, KP, but I'm not doing it right now. Thank you for the super chat, but I appreciate it. All right, where did that go? Sorry, you guys. Jaffe, if someone presents a game idea, but they want someone to help them make it, let's say someone like yourself, would you help? No, I would not. I mean, I might give them some, like, hey, go talk to this person, or maybe you could do this or that, but I don't want to do that anymore. All right. Hey, that's pretty cool. A rock opera, Corey's next game, Tyler, a rock opera starring Barbra Streisand. That'd be cool. Jaffe, the rumors are Corey's working on an old PlayStation IP. Well, I heard he said that it was a IP, but it would be very different. It was an already established intellectual property, but it would be different, which is cool. But I don't know if he said PlayStation, but maybe. I think it would be cool. Let's see. I mean, Siphon Filter would be cool if he was working on that. I'd love to see like Sony have their own. I guess Kojima's already doing that with his other game, Fizzant or whatever. But I'd love to see like a real sleek, big budget, AAA narrative based spy adventure coming out of Sony that they own the rights to. But yeah, that would be neat. In general, Jaffe is continuing to create, says Machine, just in different ways. Yeah, well, what you have to understand about that is, you know, you guys see Sony as the same entity that was Sony when you got into it with PS1, PS2, right? Or whatever. But when I started at Sony, it has more in common with me doing YouTube and streaming and videos than making games does. Because I could walk in back then and I had so much freedom, and I could over the weekend just have a fucking brainstorm and come in and tell my boss, hey, I want to try this. Okay. That's what streaming is like right now. Right? Versus like, can you imagine with these budgets of $400-500 million, all the people that you have to get buy-in from, and then you take that and you merge it with just the normal day-to-day politics of a team and the stuff that you can tell the team that on high is saying and that you can't. And then you've got to figure out how to manipulate. And I hate that verb, but it's true. You have to manipulate the great artist to do something that he doesn't want to do, but you can't tell him why you're so passionate about it. But it really is because if you don't do it, you're worried you're going to piss off this one key person in marketing. And without that person's ally, you're probably not going to get the big rollout you need for the game to be successful. These are all the plates you're spinning, boys. It's not just sitting there with a notebook going, what would be cool is if Kratos had a weapon that also, you know, it's a big fucking thing. And I don't have any interest in that. But you guys go get that job if you want. If that's exciting to you, go get that fucking job. It sounds like a lot of you guys really want to do that. I wouldn't work in AAA games these days if you paid me. You'd have to pay me. Can you imagine? Is this free? Thank you, Kane, for the super chat. But that's a real nightmare. And I saw it at my level. Imagine it at the current level today. Come on now. What would you do in a sequel after Ragnarok? I don't know, man. I have no idea, man, what I would do. Because it's tough, because I do think they've written themselves into a corner. And if you force your way out by like, oh, but this was only one of the ways the Sisters of Fate loom could have gone. Here's another one. You end up, it's kind of like, oh, it was all a dream. And that's a problem for people. You don't want to go back to exactly how Kratos was, because I do agree with the audience that says characters have to grow with the times, but I would still want that character to grow in a way that still maintains the essence of his pulp aspect. So I would have to think about it. I haven't thought about it, actually. Okay, my dear, delightful friends. Listen, let me give you some updates here. Let me make sure this is happening before I tell you. I think it is happening Monday, but I want to be sure. One moment, please. This mouse. I need batteries. One moment. I want to be able to give you a guarantee of this, please. So tomorrow, I will be streaming a game for a sponsor. So if you're into such shenanigans, come hang out. I will also be streaming over on Locale on Monday. And then also this Monday, I will be on Sacred streaming live again with Colin Moriarty and Dustin, and that will be live. And then we'll be doing, of course, Gabbin' and Games coming up all next week, and blah, blah, blah. So, I'll be around. I've been around, and tomorrow we're doing a Jeffrey Epstein stream over on Locale Crypt. So if you want more Jaffe, and how could you not? That's what's going on. Where did this go? The sponsor coming up for tomorrow is like one of those, I'm playing a game and they're paying me to play their game. We actually are in discussions with a honest to goodness sponsor right now that we haven't locked it in yet, but that should be a lot of fun. They should do a wet remake. That would be cool. Silent Hill and Hellraiser and my thoughts on State of Play is the next stream that will be in the next day or two. So I'll let you know. You've probably answered this 100,000 times, but did you like Ascension and its multiplayer? Have a good weekend. Much love to your dog. Thank you for that, Full Metal. Okay, so the multiplayer I played, I didn't really get into it, not because I didn't like it. I just didn't, I wasn't into games like that at the time, but I hear people are still playing it and they really, really like it. As for the core game, I started streaming it recently, and I really liked it, but it may have been just because I was like, oh, I really miss that kind of game. So I do want to go back and play Ascension. I'm playing through all the games on this channel right now, at least the mainline games. So I'll probably get around to Ascension, but I liked what I played. Tim, thank you for the super chat, buddy. I appreciate that. He says, what's up? OG God of War frustrated me a lot as a kid. Great game in hindsight. Well, you really weren't supposed to be playing it as a kid. So, let me put your mom on the phone. But I'm glad you liked it in the end. Thanks from all of us who made it. Appreciate that and appreciate the super chat. I also appreciate the super chat coming in from Cyanide 1980. What would you take if you were tackling a Silent Hill game? Well, let me tell you something, man. Let me tell you something, Linda. I loved Silent Hill Remake, and I absolutely loved Silent Hill F. Silent Hill F was my favorite game last year. So if I were to tackle a Silent Hill game, it's really tough. I can't, I appreciate your super chat. I need to think about it, but off the top of my head, I love the idea about the fog being this moving thing that's almost like an entity that travels around and forces people to deal with their demons. So I might actually deal with, almost maybe, this is dumb, this is top of my head, man, but almost like storm chasers that follow tornadoes and stuff. It would be about like a group of maybe they would be like flatliners, like med school or psych school students, but they figured out a way. They're able to recognize Silent Hill without being in it, and they're trying to understand it, and they're chasing it as it moves around. I think that could be interesting because the idea of just like, oh, it's Silent Hill, but now instead of sexual abuse or instead of him killing his wife, it's about this. It's this psychological malady, and I'm like, that just seems kind of expected. And maybe it would be. Andrew says too aware already. I don't think you would be. It wouldn't be right away. Like you might not know what's happening. Maybe the end of the first game is they finally realize what's happening. And then the second game would be about them going, okay, we need to figure out what this is. And maybe there's a heart to it. And maybe they have a debate about, should we destroy it? Because as bad as this is, it's forcing people to deal with their shit. Maybe we monetize it. I don't know. I want to, there's something there. I would probably start with that. Anna G, I haven't seen the trailer for the new one. She says, I was disappointed about the response to the black character. Of course. But I mean, that's the internet for you. There are a bunch of, not all of them, but there's a lot of people that get money for being angry and racist. And here we are again, but I don't think it's going to matter either way. I'm looking forward to it. If you were tasked with a reboot, says KB, for Leisure Suit Larry, what direction would you take the game in? Can you imagine? Okay. I can actually show you real quick what direct, because I have this demo downloaded, but I haven't played it yet. But let me show you this thing. 1 second. This is one of those kind of date. I don't know if it's a dating sim or a FMV story based game, but let me show you this thing real quick. Hang on. Here it is, I think. So I downloaded this the other night. I wanted to stream it, but I just haven't at the time. It is called My Summer Love. Let me show it to you. It's called My Summer Love. And what's interesting about it is it uses AI. So all of the women, I think, I don't know if they're FMV or not. I don't know how they made the women. But it's AI based, right? So you end up, unlike Leisure Suit Larry, where, it was like pre-written stuff, you actually are having to talk and build relationships with these women with using a large language model. So I don't know specifically what the game would be yet, but I definitely would want to explore this idea, because I do think using large language models to talk to NPCs is pretty cool. And in that, I think Leisure Suit Larry could be a really neat thing to play with. So that's probably my just knee-jerk response. So, all right, fellas, don't forget, coming up Monday, I'll be on Sacred Streaming over at Last Stand Media. That's at 11 o'clock California time. Coming up Monday, 7 a.m. California time, I'll be on Lolcow Crypt with Tech and Grim talking about all kinds of things on Lolcow Crypt. Tomorrow, we're doing an Epstein file stream. I'll be streaming a game tomorrow called Oxide. And then I'll be doing Gabbin games all week long as usual. So thank you guys for the super chats. I played Romeo is a Dead Man. It's actually on the stream. I didn't like it. I got a refund for it, actually. I just thought it was too forced. It wasn't for me. But yeah, this will be has Colin seen Sense yet? Says Cyanide and Greenlit the Colin show. Not yet, but every time we have a successful show, it's a step closer to making him go, okay, we have to fucking do this. Okay. In the meantime, though, Anna, thank you. All the super chats, thank you. All the great discussion, call-ins, appreciate it very much. Be safe out there. Have a great rest of your Valentine's Day. Thank you for all the support and hanging out with me and talking games. We don't have to agree to be pals, and thank God, because we don't agree on a lot of things. But I love you either way. Wink, okay. All right. Talk to you guys soon. Bye, everybody.